Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This, of course, is another anime reaction video. Today, we're getting into episode 23 of Eden Zero. It's been a little while. It's a little while since it actually came out because I was, if you didn't know, on break for a while because I just had, no motivation to do, basically anything. I was already super procrastinating on my, schoolwork, but I was getting really bad about recording shit on time and having a schedule for that. So I took a week break. If you really want more details, I don't know if anybody really cares about that, since most of the people watching this probably only on this channel for Eden Zero period. So you probably didn't notice until it's like, oh shit, it's Sunday, where's the video, you know? But I don't want to get into it here. If you really want to, the last video before this one up, called Taking a Short Break, is where I go into slightly more detail about that. But either way, I'm super excited to get more Eden Zero because we're finally going to be fucking getting into a physical confrontation with Madame Kurenai. We learned some unfortunate truths about Valkyrie, but which I ultimately think will only make Valkyrie, or not Valkyrie, Homura stronger. At least I hope so. It's going to be so cool to see. Oh, if Homura's the one to take down Madame Kurenai, that would just make so much sense, narratively and emotionally. And finally acknowledge Valkyrie as her real mother, because of how shitty Madame Kurenai is. But what I'm expecting upcoming, because of what happened last episode, that being Shiki basically seemingly taking down the whole building because of his gravity powers, which is insane, by the way. That's incredibly powerful. But I don't think Shiki's going to be able to take all of them alone, because there's Madame Kurenai, which we don't even know how strong she is in a fight, because we've only really seen her up on her, in her ivory tower, attacking down. But she's got to be pretty powerful. But on top of that, her three, I don't know what they're called, but I'll call them lieutenants. They're also there, including Nino, Big Guy, and Cage Face Guy. I don't remember all their names. But I doubt they're going to make it easy for Shiki. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. Mostly because Shiki's, I think I mentioned earlier, he's alone right now. He's confronting them alone, but I guess there's only really one way to find out, and that's just watch the episode. So, as always, links down in the description below will take you to the full-length uncut reaction. Go ahead, follow one of those links to either BitChute or Pixel Drain. Watch the full-length reaction. Then, if you want to, you can come back to YouTube for the discussion. So, without further ado, let's get started with episode 23 of Eden Zero. Okay, so pretty great episode. I'm sure there are some people who are maybe hoping for more animation. There might be some better animation later on, but I think the biggest upgrade in animation was with Wise's Arsenal suit. So much, the fact that it was almost completely 2D too is just crazy to me. That was completely unnecessary, but they did it anyway. Maybe because it would have looked really weird in CG, because I'm not opposed to using CG in anime. It was a bit jarring the way they used it with the big robot that Madame Kurenai is in. It stands out a bit. Doesn't blend too well into the 2D stuff. But there was slightly more dynamic camera work and a bit more bit better animation, so to speak. It's not huge upgrades. I imagine there's going to be some more upgrades in terms of animation in the last two episodes, because that's literally the finale of the season. But for the most part, it seemed mostly standard for the series, or at least for this anime, with a few upgrades here and there. Some of the fights, the chase sequence really looked a bit better than usual. And then, as I said, the real star of this episode, even though he didn't actually, looking back on it, he didn't occupy very much of the episode, was Wise in his Arsenal outfit. It's just, it wasn't that long, but the details, and I think also the way they lit those shots, it was dark, and the only real light source, it wasn't super pitch black dark, but it was dark. It was, for overall dark, when you consider the scenes with Shiki fighting Madame Kurenai, were a bit lighter. So while his arm was transforming into the big hand to punch the shit out of I forget his name, big man with the battle axe, the only real light source we had was the electricity shooting off of it, and it was so smooth too. That was, not only is it the art style and the animation detail, it's just so smooth. It was so unnecessary. They didn't need to know. They didn't need to do this, but it was so cool watching. And like I said before, maybe it's because the majority of the fight between Shiki and Kurenai hasn't happened, and maybe we haven't even hit like the climax of their fight, because after a while we shifted focus onto, you know, Rebecca and Homura and Wise. So maybe we haven't gotten that end of series, or not end of series, end of season animation that a lot that people are expecting now that there's only 2 episodes left after this one. But I don't know, something about this episode would just something about the part with Arsenal was just so damn good. And overall, of course, the episode was awesome because we're getting to like the climax of this story arc, and Eden Zero has just gotten better and better as it's gone on. I already loved like the beginning, but goddamn, it's impressive. It's impressive. I always love finding that in series, a series that just like improve. Like maybe there's little things here or there that aren't the best, but overall it's just like a better product like now than it was when it started, so to speak. You know, I've been reading the Invincible comics because after season 1 I ended up not being able to control myself, and god damn, do those get even better. I almost slightly regret reading the comics now, because even though there's going to be changes when they adapt the rest of it into the cartoon version on Amazon Prime, it might hit slightly less. Who knows? They could make things like the fight with Conquest even more like violent and gory than it is in the comics, which is crazy to think about, because some of the stuff that is adapted in season 1 from the comics are not as gory, but the show made it even worse, you know. But either way, it's always amazing to see a series like improve. There's always the chance it'll decline, but even though I can enjoy series that start off really great but then get worse over time, it is always lots of fun to see a series that improves. Maybe I'm speaking too prematurely, because Eden Zero is on like what, 160 or so chapters? I don't know. I think recently volume 17 was announced in Japan. I'm kind of curious. What chapter is Eden Zero on currently? Chapter 115. It was pretty close. I said 160, didn't I? It's on 159. Okay. Yeah. I'm still, that's not gonna leave, the stuff with Wise and Arsenal is not gonna leave my mind for a while, because not only is it just like badass by itself, I'm gonna keep saying it, the extra effort the studio and like the animation team went with in animating Wise's Arsenal, it's setting the bar too high. I think that happens a lot whenever you get like a taste of the good shit in terms of animation and like art detail and whatever. It makes it harder to appreciate other forms. Like in that way, like shit like Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen has ruined like a generation of anime watchers, because if it's not top quality animation, it's not worth your time, which is just not even true. Because by that logic, you can't watch like anything from like early 2000s, because there's some good stuff in there, but a lot of it, they didn't have like the technology or whatever it was. So I hope I'm not gonna bet money on it or something, but I hope that like maybe not all the time, but every once in a while when Arsenal shows up in the future, just give me like a really nice, really smooth, detailed like shots of the armor transforming and like being rearranged and shit by Wise, and I'll be exceedingly happy. I'm unbelievably like excited about it. And it's gonna be cool to potentially see Wise get stronger through his his suit. One thing I hope doesn't happen, and to be fair, it could be a thing where it's like by combining our powers and working together as a team, because for the most part they're pretty separated. Then like that's how we take down like the villains that are stronger than us than just like, aha, I am powered up and I can beat you now type thing. But I hope Rebecca doesn't get lost, like left behind, you know, like because Homina's on track to become even stronger now that Valkyrie has passed away. I'm thinking she's gonna have to take up the mantle of Valkyrie and become the new Valkyrie. And Shiki was always strong. He's gonna obviously get even stronger as the the grandson or whatever of the Demon King. Wise will his ability, his mechanical ability that lets him like work with like engineering and like robotics and electronics and stuff like that. That will never not be useful as long as you can find creative ways to do things, because he basically has limitless potential, right? But now that he can like get into physical fights with Arsenal, even though it's severely restricted in what it can do in terms of its power, that's still like an upgrade in his like abilities. Like he'll be able to like take things on more head on this way, which is awesome. But Rebecca, who is one of the first characters we ever met in the series, who has stuck around since the very beginning, too, because basically none of literally none of the robots on Grand Bell are still around. They're only in like flashbacks, and I assume sometime we'll go back to Grand Bell, but considering how early we met Rebecca and how she stuck around for basically this entire time, it would suck to see her left behind, you know what I mean? It would also suck to see like Sister and Witch be left behind. Unfortunately, Witch can't leave, I don't think. Hopefully Witch gets something in the future, because I think it would be fine for her to be just like the navigational person who runs the ship and gives us intel. But considering Wise was kind of also in a support position, him being really only able to like create electronics for other characters to use, but now him being able to like directly fight people with this new suit, it makes me think Witch has to be able to do something in the future. You know what I mean? Hermit, same thing with Hermit. She's a bit more of a, wow, I just realized a lot of them are support characters. Valkyrie was the sword of, so to speak, of the Demon King, and the rest of them were mostly support. Unless I'm wrong. But either way, super excited to get more into this. Let me just scroll through. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I have forgone that notion that maybe Kurenai will be redeemed. I don't think it's gonna happen. Especially since she flat out was just like, oh, I don't care, I'll kill my daughter. You think I give a fuck? See, I almost want to say that there might be something a little bit. Oh, that's just my jacket. There was noise. Sometimes never mind. I just, whatever. So, because she says tears for the weak, but she was crying and begging for money. I'm assuming she was doing that to manipulate, or trying to manipulate. Obviously didn't work on Joe. But the fact that we've seen her cry multiple times, and like crying on command, and like crying without meaning it, like when you're expected to feel sad or whatever, it's a hard thing to do. Maybe she's just that good at it. I don't know. And while I'm not going to say that she's not irredeemable, she's pretty irredeemable with some of the shit she's done, I might be able to at least ever so slightly sympathize with her. If she gets something. If she gets nothing, then I think that's whatever. I'll get over it. It's not like considering how terrible of a mother she was, it's not like I really care. Valkyrie is the real mom. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had to say about this episode. If you watched it all the way to this point, thank you so very much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single upload in the future. It also helps me out a lot. Thank you once again for watching. Peace.